The final WWE pay-per-view of 2018 takes place tonight in the SAP Center in San Jose, California, and that is WWE TLC Tables, Ladders, and Chairs. We have an hour kickoff show, and on the kickoff show, they started the show off with the Cruiserweight title, Buddy Murphy and Cedric Alexander, so they didn't get as lucky as they were last month to get on pay-per-view, but Buddy Murphy wins. It was a good match. Went 10 minutes. They had time. I mean, it's first match. Whenever you have a first match on a pay-per-view, the crowd's always dead because that's when people are still getting in, and this is like really a B show, so it wasn't going to be too hot. Next up after that, they went to Elias and Bobby Lashley in a ladder match, and I was very confused about this match, mainly because I wasn't looking forward to it. I was surprised with the rules. I thought this would work like a ladder match with an object, and you can use the object and you have to win with by pinfall. Instead, it just ended with Elias getting the ladder, or getting his guitar. He climbed his ladder and got his guitar, and the match was over. I thought it was like going to be a match where you can use the guitar as a weapon. That's how I thought it would work. They did that kind of with Triple H and Kevin Nash had a sledgehammer ladder match. I guess it doesn't work like those pole matches. I guess you're just going to have to count it as a ladder match. You grab the weapon to win. Anyway, match was nothing. It was not even that long. It was only like 5-6 minutes. So the main show starts off with, yes, we're going to have a match on WWE TLC, an actual main roster pay-per-view. We're going to start off with a match with the competitors of Jinder Mahal and Alicia Fox against R-Truth and Carmella. So yeah, the mixed match challenge final starts it off. They gave it the show on the pay-per-view, I think mainly because they really want to get that mixed match challenge over, and they invested so much into it. They really wanted to give it a payoff. I really hope they don't do a season 3 because season 1 and 2 have been completely forgettable. R-Truth and Carmella win. Match wasn't too long. Crowds were somewhat into it. Again, it's a geek match, look who's in it. In the end, the big spot they really played up to was how the match was going to end, in which the winners would announce where they're going on vacation. They both were number 30 in the Royal Rumble, we know that, but now where they go on vacation. And what happens is they tease it like they didn't make up their decision, and eventually R-Truth already made it up, and he says they're going to WWE headquarters in Stamford, Connecticut. So yeah. Up next, we have the triple threat tag team match for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. You have New Day, Usos against the champs, the Bar.
Triple threat tag team match ended up being a decent match. The only problem is we've seen the Usos and New Day have so much better tag matches on pay-per-view that when you set the bar so high, no pun intended, when you have a match like this, it comes off as inferior. But it was still a fine tag match. Bar retains. Up next, they went to the match I think most people were dreading the most going into the show, and I was definitely dreading. And after the match, I'm glad it was over. It was Braun Strowman and Baron Corbin in the TLC match. Baron Corbin wrestling in a TLC match against a guy who just came off of elbow surgery. So what could go wrong here? I don't think it should have been a TLC match. You could have just made it like a no-holds-barred match. You didn't have to use that stipulation here, but it's basically Strowman comes out, his elbow's all wrapped up, he's in a sling, and then all the Raw guys who have been basically screwed over by Baron Corbin in the last couple months all come out to exact their revenge. Everyone from, it was all the jobber guys. It wasn't a whole much, but it was a bunch of jobber guys. And then Kurt Angle makes his big return. Kurt comes out, hits Corbin with the Angle Slam, and Strowman basically just gets done when he puts his foot over his chest and gets a 3 count. Pretty shitty match, but that's what they could do. I guess Vince will fire Corbin tomorrow night on Raw, but I don't know. Corbin's already fired, so maybe he fires him as a performer on Raw. We'll see. I'm sure Vince will do something to Corbin because I guess he can't fire him as a GM now. Up next, I go to a tables match, Natalya and Ruby Riott. So the whole story here is about Natalya's deceased father, and they're doing the whole thing with his fat head on the table. And then Ruby Riott ends up getting a taste of her own medicine as Natalya reveals that she has her own table with Ruby's fat head. And Natalya also used her father's jacket in this match. So you had Liv Morgan take one of the sickest bumps of the night. She basically gets speared through the ropes and just goes smashing through the table. Sarah Logan gets a body slam through the table, and then the match really went downhill. It fell apart quickly. Ruby and Natalya did not like it. Ending spot kind of saved it with a powerbomb from the top through the table, but it really dragged in the middle. But Natalya gets her revenge, and I think she's going to go on to fight Ronda Rousey. I think she's getting a push. I think that's where we're going. I could be wrong here at the Royal Rumble, because I think we're getting a 3-way at WrestleMania. So hopefully I'm right there. Up next, we had Finn Balor and Drew McIntyre in the piss break of the night. I didn't pay any attention to this. All I know is there was a whole bunch of chairs that were involved. I thought it was a singles match. It was not a chairs match, but Ziggler came out. He screwed over McIntyre. McIntyre came back, but then Balor drop kicks a chair into McIntyre's face and hits the coup de grace for the win. So Finn Balor pins Drew McIntyre, but it was not clean. So yeah, I still think McIntyre is going to get a huge push. Vince loves the guy. There was also even rumors that Vince wants McIntyre to win the title at WrestleMania. Doesn't surprise me. It's rumors is Vince wants McIntyre and Triple H wants Seth. Up next is a chairs match with Randy Orton and Rey Mysterio. Again, this kind of bored me for most of it. I was not into this. I don't know. There was something about this match was a little off. They used the chairs a lot, and there was not a whole bunch of bumps on chairs, but the big thing was one cool spot was Rey Mysterio did kind of a surfboard out of the ring onto Orton with a chair. That was cool, but the ending was a whole bunch of chairs being set up, and Mysterio hits his finish onto the chairs, and when Orton was sitting on, there was 4 chairs set up how would you sit on one, and Orton was sitting on them, and the Mysterio hits that big roll up he always does. It goes from a Hurricane Run into a pinfall. It basically hits it off of Orton, who was sitting on the chair, and gets the win. It was fun. That match just didn't have my interest for some reason. There's just, I don't know, something about those two. It feels like it's 2018. I don't want to watch Randy Orton and Rey Mysterio in 2018. No disrespect to both of them. They're both Hall of Famers, but I don't know. In 2018, I don't want to see that. Up next was the Raw Women's Championship. Ronda Rousey defending her title against Nia Jax. So this ended up being a really good match, even though I don't like Nia Jax at all. I'm not a fan of her. I hate that she's getting this push after injuring Becky, but I'll admit, I'll give credit. This match was really good. It was more about Ronda. I think one thing I noticed was Ronda really knows how to utilize Nia Jax's strengths when she faces her, because she knows how to wrestle a big woman. Ronda's really good at wrestling a big, strong woman, and she did well with Nia. And I know they probably practiced the match about 9,000 times over the last 6 weeks at the Performance Center, but it was still a fine match. One thing I noticed, again, Ronda is so athletic. It's crazy how athletic her body is. I'm just blown away. She's just so, she's really thick and really powerful, but she's so flexible, and she has such great judo and jiu-jitsu. She's able to contort her body in so many crazy positions. It's really fun to watch. It was fun to watch her here. I one spot I liked was when Nia has Ronda for a suplex, and Ronda Rousey's so athletic. She just bends her body and turns over and gets a choke on Nia Jax. I thought that was really cool. And an armbar. Nia messed some stuff up. Thankfully, Ronda Rousey was not injured in this match, or else everything would have been a complete disaster. Nia hit the Samoan drop. Ronda kicks out. Eventually, Rousey is able to get the win. Tamina tries to interfere, and Tamina just fucked up again. Tamina should be fired immediately. I would fire Tamina before Nia. Even as bad as Nia is, she has had some decent matches. Tamina should be released years ago. She's the worst I've ever seen. I've never seen someone just fuck up like this. Just someone who's just collecting a paycheck. Anyway, Rousey eventually gets the win with the armbar, taps out Nia Jax, someone else would get some revenge on Nia Jax, but that's how it ended. So after the match, they show Nia Jax backstage, and then she runs into Becky Lynch, and Becky says, "Yeah, you broke my face," and she punches Nia Jax, throws her into the wall. It was great. Fans loved that. I love that scene. That was an amazing scene, and it was just great. It was so cool to see that, and I hope we'll have to see them again at the Royal Rumble, because I think that should be it. I wish Nia Jax is not even in the Rumble. Just eliminate her early. I don't want to see Nia Jax. I don't want to see her push. I don't want to see her get that position. Just bury her 6 feet under now. And then they also show Tamina running after the situation. She's just always such a fuck up. It's incredible how she keeps her job. So WWE Championship was next. Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles. It's Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles. You expect a great match, and that's what you get. Not a classic match. It's still a really good match. The way they built this up, I get the feeling they want to continue to shoot the way the match ended with Daniel Bryan winning with an inside cradle being reversed. I get the feeling if you're going to do that, you kind of want to continue to feud. The match was fun. It was really entertaining. A lot of kick, a lot of reversals into submissions. Started off a bit slow, but really started to pick up. Daniel Bryan's great, and so is AJ. I love the submission counters. I love how Daniel Bryan's able to flip out of the submissions. I love how AJ counters a labelli lock. It's not the yes lock anymore. Lots of really good chain wrestling, and these two have such great styles. They're just great. Both of them are two of the greatest wrestlers we've ever seen. Both those guys in the ring are just excellent. They haven't had that classic WWE match. This wasn't a classic match. I don't think they had the opportunity to, but it was still really good. Daniel Bryan gets the win. I think they'll continue to feud, and I had no problem with where they go. I still, maybe we see a finale at the Royal Rumble, or maybe it's like a 2 or 3 falls at the Rumble, something like that. But I don't think this feud's over yet. Up next, Intercontinental Championship, and Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose, and easily the most disappointing match of the night. I didn't like this. This was not a good match. This was a snooze fest. Seth Rollins bores me. I know they love Seth. They're going to give him a huge push. He's probably going to beat Brock Lesnar for the title at WrestleMania. I wish it was Braun. I want to see Braun get that moment. I don't like Seth getting that moment. Seth Rollins, just, I don't know. I don't find him I don't like him on the mic. He comes off as a nerd to me, and a geek, and a kind of a dweeb, the way he talks. I don't know, maybe there's something about his voice. I hate how I'm not a big fan of his work. I hate the 5 dives every single match, always doing a dive, always having, selling a need and doing 3 dives. It just annoys me. Why does he need to do that much? The guy has a great, he's great, in terms of being a talented wrestler and very athletic. Just some of his stuff just doesn't make any sense to me. I've always felt that nothing he does ever makes sense. And here he looks like an idiot. I didn't like Ambrose. Ambrose has no momentum. Great, Dean Ambrose is the Intercontinental Champion again. Who fucking cares? Who cares about seeing Dean Ambrose as the Intercontinental Champion? The match ends with Ambrose using the Shield thing, and then Rollins, he's making a little kid's face. He makes that little boy angry face, and Ronda can make that little girl angry face. It's funny. And then Rollins flips out, and he just gets caught in the dirty deeds, and one dirty deeds, and Ambrose Intercontinental Champion. Who cares? Ambrose IC Champion. Yeah, right. When he phoned it in when he was IC champion last time, oh man, I don't want to see that anymore. I don't give a shit. Dean Ambrose is nothing now. He's a joke. Rollins is going on to win the Rumble, and Ambrose will be left in some mid-card match at WrestleMania for an Intercontinental title, and no one will care. It'll be like some fatal 5-way with Finn Balor involved. So all the guys who don't have a singles match on the show. So that is what it is. Then we went to the match. I was definitely looking forward to it. I wasn't really care about anything else on the show except this match, and it delivered. This match was fantastic. A triple threat TLC match for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Becky Lynch defending her SmackDown Women's Championship against Charlotte Flair and Asuka. So this was fantastic. So much great stuff here. Charlotte took a lot of punishment. She put her body through a lot. So did Becky, and so did Asuka. Lots of, first I want to mention those kendo stick shots look so fucking painful. It looks just, this kills. You don't need to do them. It's they just look painful as fuck. You had some chair spots, not too much of that. There was a few chair shots. Asuka, or I think it was Becky, was going wild with the chair. So you had that, and then the ladder and table stuff. So, there's tough to say what was my favorite spot. I think, I shouldn't say my favorite. Probably the best spot. Okay, fine. Charlotte deciding to rub her tits in Asuka's face. That was probably the spot of the night, but we'll forget about that. Charlotte did her signature moonsault. She speared Asuka through the barricade. Probably was the best part was Becky doing her kind of this leg drop, this double leg drop from the top of a ladder onto Charlotte Flair through an announcer table, and Asuka moved out of the way. That looked painful because she lands right on Charlotte, and then the table breaks. She crushes Charlotte, then the table breaks on top of it, underneath them. you had a really cool table. So Asuka powerbomb Charlotte on a table, and basically the table set up in the corner. She just like lands on the bottom of the table, looked painful. Another spot, Charlotte does like a senton bomb, like a senton, not a swanton, but like a senton from the top of the turnbuckle onto Becky Lynch through a table on the floor, which looked painful. There was a lot of fun stuff, a lot of exciting stuff with the ladders at the end, with 3 of them on the ladders. Crowd was really into this. These 3 beat the shit out of each other. Becky is bumping everywhere. Charlotte's killing her body. Asuka's taking bumps. The spot in which they kind of, I think they had a way of like getting Asuka out of the match for a while. And I think the whole thing was going to be Charlotte and Becky, and they had Charlotte and Becky have a huge brawl. But when Asuka comes back, she's first of all, she's laid out. I forget exactly how they laid her out, but she's out, and then it's Charlotte and Becky at the top. And how they set up everything is, look who makes her return. Ronda Rousey comes out, decides to get her revenge, makes her second appearance of the night in order to get revenge on Charlotte and get revenge on all the stuff Becky said about her. She tips over Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch off the ladder onto the ropes, and then Asuka gets back in the ring. Everyone's out. Ronda has gotten her revenge on Charlotte for fucking murdering her with a kendo stick on Survivor Series, and all the stuff Becky said about her. Asuka takes advantage. Asuka climbs to the top of the ladder, and Asuka is your new SmackDown Women's Champion. That was amazing. Seeing Asuka get that belt was great. That was a great moment. I loved it. So Asuka's the champ. We'll see how they push her. I'm just really happy she finally got that moment. It should have happened in WrestleMania. Asuka should have beat Charlotte at WrestleMania, won the title. And it's crazy. Asuka, her year in 2018 has been so up and down. It's like she started off really high. She wins the Royal Rumble. She gets pushed well. She has the undefeated streak intact. She loses at WrestleMania, and then she gets jobbed out by Carmella twice, and her career goes to hell. She's done. Then things start to turn around. She starts to gain some momentum, and then how you have it, she wins some Battle Royale on SmackDown, and now she's a champion. She finally wins a title at TLC. She's a SmackDown champion, about 8 months too late, but she's champ. And I'm really happy for Asuka. It was an amazing moment seeing her on top of the ladder with the title. It was a really great moment. I'm really happy for Asuka. But I think the direction is clear. I think they're going to do it. I think it's the main event of WrestleMania. We're going to see a triple threat match. I think we're going to see Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch, and a triple threat match probably for the Raw Women's title and maybe the SmackDown Women's title. But I think that's the main event. Ronda, Charlotte, Becky at WrestleMania 35. I think that's the direction, and I think that's what they should do.